Good morning. Today we'll start with fluid kinematics. Kinematic descriptions, types of motion or deformation of fluid elements. In fluid mechanics, as in solid mechanics, an element may undergo four fundamental types of motion or deformation as illustrated in two dimensions: translation, rotation, linear strain, extension strain, shear strain. The study of fluid dynamics is further complicated by the fact that all four types of motion or deformation usually occur simultaneously. Because fluid element may be in constant motion, it is preferable in fluid dynamics to describe the motion and deformation of fluid elements in terms of rates. In particular, we discuss velocity, rate of translation, angular velocity, rate of rotation, linear strain rate, and shear strain rate, rate of shear strain. In order for these deformation rates to be useful in the calculation of fluid flows, we must express them in terms of velocity and derivatives of velocity. Translation and rotation are easily understood since they are commonly observed in the motion of solid particles such as billiard balls. A vector is required in order to fully describe the rate of translation in three dimensions. The rate of translation vector is described mathematically as velocity vector, which is v is equal to ui plus vj plus wk. Rate of rotation angular velocity at a point is defined as the average rotation rate of two initially perpendicular lines that intersect at that point. So in figure 434b, consider the point at the bottom left corner of the initially square fluid element. The left edge and the bottom edge of the element intersect at that point and are initially perpendicular. Both of these lines rotate counterclockwise, which is the mathematically positive direction. The angle between these two lines or between any two initially perpendicular lines on the fluid element remains at 90 degree. Since solid body rotation is illustrated in figure, both lines rotate at the same rate and the rate of rotation in the plane is simply the component of angular velocity in that plane. So you can see here in this figure B, so this plate is rotating and both will rotate, this side and this side, these are parallel and they will rotate in this direction. So this element is a solid body, so the angle between this line and this line will always be 90 degree. But now discuss the example in case of fluid, means we are not taking solid body. Two-dimensional case, the fluid particle translates and deforms as it rotates. So for fluid element that translates and deforms, take two lines here A and B. In this case, now this is fluid element at time t1 and see that these lines will rotate because this is a fluid element. So this line will rotate and this will be stressed. So this A line is rotated by say alpha A angle and your B line is rotated in this direction by alpha B angle. So we follow these lines as they move and rotate in an infinitely increment of time dt, t2 minus t1 at time t2. Line A has rotated by angle alpha and B has rotated by angle alpha B, and both lines have moved with the flow as sketched. Both angle values are given in radians. So the total rotation, average rotation is alpha 1 plus alpha B plus alpha A divided by 2, and the rate of rotation or angular velocity in xy plane is equal to time derivative of this average. So this is your angular velocity, which is time derivative of this. Now when you take derivative, you will get del v by del x minus del u by del y. In three dimensions, we must define a vector for the rate of rotation at a point in the flow since its magnitude may differ in each of three dimensions. Derivative of the rate of rotation vector in three dimensions can be found in many fluid mechanics books, such as, so the rate of rotation vector is equal to the angular velocity vector and is expressed in Cartesian coordinate as, so the rate of rotation vector in Cartesian coordinate is 1 by 2 del w by del y minus del v by del z I plus half del u by del z minus del w by del x plus half del v by del x minus del u by del y. Linear strain rate is defined as the rate of increase in length per unit length. Mathematically, the linear strain rate of fluid element depends on the initial orientation or direction of the line segment upon which we measure the linear strain. Thus, it cannot be expressed as a scalar or vector quantity. Instead, we define linear strain rate in some arbitrary direction, which we denote as axial direction. For example, line segment PQ. This is PQ line segment. This point is moving with U alpha velocity, but this point is moving with U alpha plus del U by del X into dx alpha velocity. So due to this, the final position of points is P dash Q dash. Initial position of PQ and the final position is of this segment is P dash Q dash. Now this will develop a strain which is called positive linear strain. So linear strain can be negative if it will stretch if there is a decrease in the length of this element. So final length is P dash Q dash, original length is PQ divided by original length. Change in length to original length and the rate of change with respect to time is called linear strain rate in axial direction, which is represented by this notation. Now put the values P dash Q dash here into dt. So this is velocity here, this is time, which will give you the length of element Q and Q dash. So this element, this is the velocity multiplied by time in which this change has happened. So this will give you the length Q dash plus this length dx alpha, this element dx alpha minus pp dash which is u alpha dt divided by original length which is dx alpha, length of PQ will give you, after solving you will get del u alpha by del xa. So this you can also find in the Cartesian coordinates. So instead of alpha you can replace by x, y and z. For the more general case, the fluid element moves and deforms as sketched in figure. Solid objects such as wires, rods and beams are stretched when pulled. You should recall from your study of engineering mechanics that when such an object is stretched in one direction, it usually shrinks in direction normal to that direction. The same is true for fluid elements. The originally square fluid element stretched in horizontal direction and shrinks in the vertical direction. You can see this element. This is the original element. This solid line is the original element and this dotted line represents the final element. So when you stretch from the both sides, its shape will change. The dotted line will represent the final shape. It will stretch in the horizontal direction and in the vertical direction its height has decreased by this much amount. So the linear strain rate is positive horizontally and negative vertically. If flow is incompressible, the net volume of fluid element must remain constant. Thus, if the element stretches in one direction, it must shrink by an appropriate amount in another direction to compensate. The volume of a compressible fluid element, however, may increase or decrease as its density decrease or increase respectively. The mass of a full element must remain constant, but since density is equal to mass upon volume, density and volume are inversely proportional. Consider, for example, a parcel of air in the cylinder being compressed by piston. So this is the air parcel, say at time t1, this is the volume and it is compressed by this piston, and this is the final volume at time t2. The air parcel has stretched now. The rate of increase of volume of a fluid element per unit volume is called volumetric strain rate or bulk strain rate. The kinematic property is defined as positive when the volume increases. Another synonym of volumetric strain rate is rate of volumetric dilation, which is easy to remember if you think about how the iris of your eye dilates when exposed to dim light. It turns out that the volumetric strain rate is the sum of linear strain rates in three mutually orthogonal directions. So in Cartesian coordinates, the volumetric strain rate is thus: volumetric strain rate in Cartesian coordinate is change in volume with respect to time by original volume is equal to this, which you can write in this form also. So volumetric strain is the sum of linear strain in Cartesian coordinates. Shear strain rate is more difficult deformation rate to describe and understand. Shear strain rate at a point is defined as half of the rate of decrease of the angle between two initially perpendicular lines that intersect at point. The reason for the half will become clear later when we combine shear strain rate and linear strain rate into one tensor. So you can see in this here, this is your original element. After shear strain, it will deform and this shape will become this. Consider a fluid element in two-dimensional xy plane. The element translates and deforms with time as sketched. So this is your fluid element at time t1. After deformation, this is your fluid element at time t2. So lines A and B in the x and y direction respectively are followed. The angle between these two lines decrease from 90 degree to an angle marked as alpha AB. So this is here 90 degree. This is the angle which has shown after the decrease. It is left as an exercise to show that the shear strain rate at point P for initially perpendicular lines in xy direction is given. So shear strain rate is equal to minus half d by dt alpha AB. After solving you will get half del u by del y plus del v by del x. So this shear strain rate in Cartesian coordinate, this can be written for xy, zx and yz. Finally, it turns out that we can mathematically combine linear strain rate and shear strain rate into one symmetric second order tensor called strain rate tensor. The strain rate tensor obeys all the laws of mathematical tensors such as tensor invariants, transformation laws and principal axis. So figure this shows a general situation in a compressible fluid flow in which all possible motions and deformations are present simultaneously. In particular, there is a transition rotation, linear strain and shear strain. Because of the compressible nature of the fluid, there is also volumetric strain. You should now have a better appreciation of the inherent complexity of fluid dynamics and the mathematical sophistication required to fully describe the fluid motion. So this A, B, C, D plate will be distort this fluid element and this is your final element with translation, rotational, linear strain, shear strain and volumetric strain. So this can be represented in here. Eij is strain rate tensor in Cartesian coordinate is, you can represent in this form here. So this is up to here strain and strain rate. Like this video, subscribe this channel and thank you for watching this video.